2021-2022. And the session today will be maximum 90 minutes. So hopefully we'll be able to breeze through the slides and then answer some of the questions from everyone. So just a few house rules. Number one is please turn your cameras and mics off at the start of the session. We will request that you turn them on later. So later we'll have like an introduction between everyone in the room. So there'll be time for everyone to turn on their mics and their camera. And then number two is please type your questions in the chat box and identify if you have any questions is for specific area or specific speaker that you would like to ask. And you can also use the raise hand function in Microsoft Teams. And as mentioned earlier, this meeting will be recorded in full and will be circulated later on to all the grantees. And let's be respectful of each other during the orientation session. All right. So please allow me to quickly introduce myself. My name is Levina Wirawan from British Council Indonesia Arts Team. Perhaps we've been in touch through email here and there. And today I'm joined by a few colleagues from my team as well. We have Anissa, we have Kemi or Camelia, we have Randall, and we also have Ola. So we will also later on introduce ourselves when after we finish with the presentation slides. Just to let you know the structure of the session today, we will start with an overview. And then there's a key areas, 6 key areas that we will talk about around contracts, project reporting, communications, safeguarding, information management, as well as intellectual property. And then later on, we will just say hello to each other where we can turn on our camera and our mics and then answer all the questions that you would have. And again, welcome and congratulations. CPC is a grant program run by British Council in the UK and East Asia for the past 16 years. And the Southeast Asia edition was only launched in August 2019, and we have now completed 3 rounds and supporting 34 mobility and online collaborations, as well as 38 online collaborations in 2020. And for the current round, which is where all of you now we are in round 4, and we have 37 grants across all 6 countries in Southeast Asia. And specifically for Indonesia, we have 6 grant project teams for this round. Some key terms that we will use throughout Connections Through Culture program is number 1 is the term project. So project would refer to your CTC grant project. And then the term activity are scheduled events, talks, meetings, production, or showcase events that are part of the project. And there is also a project team, which is the lead grantee or lead applicant, the counterpart grantee or counterpart applicant, as well as the regular teammates that the project team will be working with throughout the project. And then participants. Participants would be additional stakeholders that you will be working with, for example, audience of specific activities, or maybe artists that you would like to commission to take part in the project, speakers or guest lecturers that you plan to also invite to specific activities. Participants would also include third-party suppliers that you are contacting or commissioning. We are at slide 5 now. Can I just check if my volume and my speed is okay with everyone before I move on? Is that okay?
Yes, it's displaying slide 5 now.
Okay, thank you. So we're moving on to the next slide. What is the role of British Council Indonesia team in your grant project? So our key role is around facilitation and support. So We'll be your first point of contact for any concerns or issues at your work, at your delivery process of the project. And if there's anything arise, please feel free to contact us in Indonesia team. And then your grant is funded by British Council. So we in the team in Indonesia we are here to facilitate and assist you as you lead and complete the delivery of your project. We could also help you promote the project activities or announcements that you would be making. And also our country teams will be the one that will receive your final reports. Now we are moving to the first element of this orientation is around contracts and payment. So thank you so much for everyone for agreeing and signing the contract. We would encourage everyone to please review the clauses again carefully. And if there's anything that you're not clear with or you would like to seek clarification of, please contact us as needed. And the contract signing has been completed. Once again, thank you so much for that. And we are now at the process of registering all your bank accounts. And it would usually take around 10 working days, give or take, after we receive the countersigned contract from the grantees. And in terms of the timing of when you will be able to receive the fund in your bank account, British Council use 30 days payment terms after the date of when we receive your invoice. So please anticipate that it will take about like 30 days after we receive your invoice. And for us to be able to receive your invoice, we would first register your bank account first. So the stage is like that, contract signing, register bank account, and then after that, we will ask you for the invoice. And in terms of the payment for the payment that is done in Indonesian rupiah, we are using our October bookkeeping rate, which is 1 GBP equals to 19,500 Indonesian rupiah. And if there is any changes in either project timeline or your project deliverables or any budget, please refer to the change control clause in the contract, and please email us as soon as you can to consult and discuss what are those changes and how we can adjust to the new changes. And this is a very important point, is that each project team is responsible to ensure that they have a signed contract or letter of agreement with all the collaborations to ensure accountability as well as avoiding any disputes. We're moving on now to the project reporting process. We are dividing the project reporting process into 3 key stages. The first one is the start of the grant, which is from today until the 5th of November, in which we will circulate a link for each project team to complete. It is a pre-project survey. So at the moment, we're still waiting for the link to be created. And it's supposed to come either at the end of this week or early next week. So we will send it to you as soon as we have it. And please complete that before the 5th, by the 5th of November. And then the second stage would be the project delivery stage. We would like to ask that each project team to record or journal the project activity. It is to be submitted at the beginning of each month. So we will reach out to you to set out the deadlines for each month. And we will always remind you via email if there's any required actions for you to complete. And with the project activity journal or record, this would include things like any documentations or photos, recordings, event pages, or any notes that you would have to start collecting as you go through the project and then to be submitted later on at the end of the project. And then the second thing that we would like to encourage you, that we require each project team to collect is audience data. Can everyone please mute your mic, please? Thank you. And so going back to the project delivery stage, there are two key areas. The first that we require project team to complete. The first one is the project activity record or journal, and the second one is the audience data. Those two we would prepare some sort of like a template. Hopefully, it's easier for everyone to utilize if there is like a template that we have. And we will circulate that to everyone as well as a follow-up of this orientation session. And with the project delivery, as I mentioned, each month we would be in touch with each team to, check in how is the project delivery going and whether or not there's any specific challenges or issues. And also just to, if there's any public activities or anything, we would definitely like to help you promote, as well as we would definitely want to attend as well if we can. So that will be for the project delivery stage. And then once the project is completed, we would then on to the project reporting, the final project report. We estimate the final project reporting to take place around mid of February until mid of March. The final project report would include the following items, which is the post-project survey. There will be a link that we will circulate to everyone. And the second one is the audience data summary. This would be the summary of what each project team has collected as they go through the project delivery stages. So please make sure that during your project delivery that you always collect the audience data so that you don't forget when you need to report it at the end. And the third one is the budget summary. We will also provide you a simple template for you to fill in. The fourth one would be project activity record or journal, which is also something that we require you to complete each month as you go along the project delivery. And so it's just a matter of compiling them and submit the compilation to us. And last but not least, is impact and result. We will send you a brief so you know what you need to submit to us. But it's basically the output of your project. For example, if you're producing something, or if in the process there's like you created documentation or photos or videos, we would love to have those as well. And the last thing would be impact story. So with the impact story is one of the ways that British Council do to help bring your project closer to the wider public. So we would allocate like space in our platform, in our website, as well as our social media to tell a story and the key messages of your project to hopefully share it to the wider audience. So that's about project reporting. And as mentioned earlier about the pre-project survey, we will use Decipher, and we will send the link to you. It will be sent by our regional team sometime next week. And we require you to complete them by the 5th of November. And this is just to show you very quickly about the audience data template that we will circulate later on. So we are encouraging each project team to try to collect the following data. For example, if you can please group your audience based on the following groups, for example, artists, whether they are artists non-UK or artists UK, whether they are art leaders or government leaders or a public audience. And here also, if possible, if you could please group them based on male, female, prefer not to say, or others. And then the next slide, still on audience data collection, is around when you created virtual live events. So this is a sample of the template that we would require you to fill in. It's also very similar. I think the difference is that this is face-to-face and this is virtual live. It's also similar kind of groupings. And this is virtual recorded. So with virtual live and virtual recorded, the difference is that virtual live would be when it was live. So for example, if you're doing YouTube live, then you only record the numbers during the live. But once the live session is ended, but people are still accessing still play back the video, then it will be counted as virtual recorded. And one rather specific areas that we would like project team to supply us with is the list of organizations, both UK and Southeast Asia. So there will be a space for you to fill it in here. And then there will also an area for you to input any list of publications you have published during the activity. There will also be spaces for you to fill in. And in terms of the final project report, just to elaborate what has been mentioned earlier, is there five key elements, which is the survey, post-project survey, the audience data summary, which I have just shown you the template, and then budget summary, which will be in an Excel sheet. And then the final project activity record or journal, we will provide you also a simple template. And same goes with the impact and results. There will be a brief. Hopefully, with all the links and templates and brief, it would help you to simplify the process. But of course, if during the process of final project reporting, you have any concerns or any questions in how to complete all the templates, you can always come back to us and we will be more than happy to help you. And now we're talking about communications. We encourage you to be in regular contact with us on the progress of your projects. So as I mentioned earlier, we would be in touch with you every month. But if you feel that you would like to get in touch with us more often than that, please feel free to do so. We would also be happy to help communicate your project to a wider audience. For example, we will upload names and projects in our website and social media accounts soon. This is estimated for Indonesia, I think, second week of November. And then in terms of to help you with the communications, also, as I mentioned earlier, please keep a project journal or record, which you can use when you give us your monthly updates. But of course, besides that, it is also useful for when you do your final reporting. And for projects that will have final public presentations, we expect that those final public presentations to be delivered around February. But of course, if it is not possible, the timing is not possible, then please speak to us. And in terms of public communications and branding of your project, on last Friday, I sent an email with the communications guidelines. So hopefully with those guidelines, you would be able to now publicly communicate your project. And we request that all communications materials related to your CTC project to be co-branded with British Council logo, as well as the hashtags. It's actually not on the next slide, but the hashtags are here. And grantees are free to design their communication collaterals. You do not need to get our approval, so you're free to just design design it as you see fit, as long as you follow the guidelines when it comes to the logo placement and all that, which I have circulated last Friday. With the logo, we suggested two ways to use we suggested two ways to brand your CTC project. One is with the logo that has the British Council logo with the small text supported by. But when that is not possible, you could just use a text, just write supported by the British Council. It's totally fine. And once again, these are the hashtags. Please use them when you communicate this throughout your social media channels. So we can also track. And when you also want to check out what other grantees are doing, it is also a good way to just, look up these hashtags, and you'll be able to find what other grantees across other 6 countries are doing. And now we are on section D on safeguarding. And I would hand this part over to my colleague, Kemi. Kemi, if you're ready, please come in.
Thanks, Lev, and hi, everyone. My name is Kemi. I'm working with Levina from the arts team in British Council. So I wanted to maybe add in some more information about the process of the grants and particularly in regards to the British Council policies. So apologies beforehand, this might get a bit, it might get a bit intense because there's lots of information about this, but we're hoping that we can share the details with you. And if you have any further questions, please feel free to raise them at the end of the session. So the first British Council policy is around safeguarding. And I think some of you might be aware that as an organization, British Council is committed to ensuring safeguarding of young children and adults at risk. So what we are doing through our safeguarding policy is that we're committed to comply with the relevant UK and international laws and standards around safeguarding. We want to make sure that we value, respect, and listen to children and or adults at risk. And we also want to make sure that we minimize and are able to manage situations where in case abuse could occur through maintaining strong protection systems and procedures. So this means that, we include safeguarding in our planning, in our risk assessment, and within the whole safeguarding systems. We also want to ensure that we can share our safeguarding best practice and information about safeguarding concerns with relevant parties, in particular organizations and people who are involved in our projects, who are partners with us, and to maintain the confidentiality so far as possible that is involving children and adults at risk where appropriate. And finally, of course, if any safeguarding concerns actually occur, we want to make sure that we're able to take action and investigate the suspected abuse proportionately and appropriately. So to also kind of make sure that you are all aware that we have all of these systems and procedures in place. Next. So you might be asking, what does this mean for me as a grantee of the Connections Through Culture program? So there are some particular action points that we would like to ask you to consider. First is to carefully read the British Council safeguarding policy statement and the general steps. I think our colleague Randall had already put in the chat the link to the British Council safeguarding policy. So you can maybe click on that and read more information about it there. We are also holding a safeguarding webinar on the 21st of October, which is on Thursday at 4 p.m. Indonesia time and 10 a.m. British Summer Time. And this is actually a session that is held for the whole region. So you might be able to also meet with other Connections Through Culture project grantees through the session. The session itself is mandatory for those who deal with children or adults at risk within their projects, optional for others, but we still encourage you to attend because this is maybe a really good source of information if you might have plans to work with young children or adults at risk in the future, even though it might not be through a British Council or Connections to Culture project. We're also asking you to submit the completed self-declaration form, and I think some of you might have already submitted this. If you haven't, then please make sure you do, because this is needed for all of the grantees. And lastly, if you are working with children or adults at risk for your CTC project, we may ask you to then provide us with 2 references. And this is actually part of our compliance checks, because some of you might be aware in the past, our safeguarding checks actually include DBS checks, and for Indonesia is police checks through SKCK. But we have changed our safeguarding procedure to now just include these, to provide us with these 2 references. So we will inform you if you are one of the grantees that might be that might need to go through this process. We will get back to you and ask you to provide us with the 2 reference documents as needed for safeguarding. Next. The next policy is around information management, and this is actually something that is also mentioned within your contract. Actually, the previous policy on safeguarding is also within the contract, in case anybody might want to double check or cross check the contracts with this policy. And on information management, your contract will have the following clause that talks about how we use your information. So there will be a clause on Schedule 3, standard terms, recipients' obligations, and change of control and data processing. So please have a maybe further read about this in case you are concerned or worried, or you might want to understand more about our take on information management. The information is there available in the contract. We are also requiring for you to send in consent forms, and I believe we have actually already received all signed consent forms from you, so thank you very much for that. When you are dealing with other participants or beneficiaries or other partners for your own projects, we expect you to ensure that information management is also secured. So it's advisable for you to create maybe your own version of a consent form when you're engaging with other participants for your project. Next. And lastly is on intellectual property. And likewise, your contracts have an intellectual property rights clause. It's number 5 in Schedule 3 standard terms, so please read carefully. Basically, the whole idea is your project outputs are shared and owned by the project team. So British Council doesn't actually own any of your project IP and rights. However, the lead grantee and your counterparts and everybody else who is involved in the project team need to make sure that this is clear amongst the team, and that there aren't any assumptions made or any non-clarified areas. So it's preferable that you are all aware and have a conversation about the IP for your own projects. However, from the British Council side, even though we do not have any ownership of IP for your projects, we can, however, use your comms and other materials that you send to us for us to then share through our marketing channels. So we have also indicated this within the application form, consent form, and contract. However, if there are particular commercial goods or services that actually come out from the project itself or the outputs of the project, please also make sure that you have clear agreements between your team and or maybe other participants about this. And please also make sure it's your responsibility to ensure that you have permission to use any third-party content in projects. So before maybe you use like a person's image or a text or caption or whatever, please do make sure that you have the consent from that third party to use that. I think that's it. So do I hand it back to Lavina?
It's okay, Cam. Feel free to just carry on.
All right. So I guess that's pretty much the end of our presentation and us sharing the details about the projects. Now I think is probably a really good time for us to start maybe networking and sharing amongst the new cohort. So it would be great if maybe you can start sharing your contact details, upon, of course, making sure that you have consent to do that. This is the latest cohort that we have for round 4 for Connections Through Culture. We have 4 cohorts now, and we have 6 projects in total, out of which kind of are spread across geographically across Indonesia and the UK. We have these projects, so maybe we can call to them one by one and see if maybe they can introduce themselves and like provide a very, very quick introduction about the project. Do you think that's a good idea, Lev?
Sure, let's do that.
Okay, so I'll just start from the top of the document. The first one is Tesla Manaf Effendi from Kuntari and Graham Daniels of Addictive TV. I'm trying to see whether Mas Tesla is in the meeting. And I see his name. So Mas Tesla, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. I'm not able to show my face because I'm not in the proper place. So thank you very much for the meeting. And then, yeah, please carry on. Thank you.
I see that Francois is also here from Addictive TV. Francois, do you want to say hello?
Yes, hello, Kemi, and hello, everyone. So we worked with Tesla nearly 2 years ago to start the project called Pararatronic. And so this is the second stage of completing this project. And Tesla is a musician and we are audiovisual artists. And we are wanting to release music that we created over the last couple of years, involving traditional musicians in Indonesia. So we are very excited and thankful for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. And Tesla and Francois' project is actually part of our alumni grants. So just an FYI to some of you that we have the new Connections Through Culture grants, but we also have alumni grants for those who have been involved in Connections Through Culture in the past and want to kind of continue their projects. So this one is actually one of our only alumni grants, but we're really excited to have you back. So next,
Only one?
Yeah, the only one.
Okay.
The next one is Pustaka Pias from Bandung and collaborating with Small Fry Collective. Is there anybody from Pustaka Pias or Small Fry? Oh, I see Delpi is in.
Hello. Yeah.
Hi, Delpi. Go ahead.
Hello, everybody. I'm sorry before I can able to see on the camera because I'm not in proper place. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for chance to join this grantees. For this project, I together with Titis. I am from Bandung and Titis from Jakarta, and we both represent Pustaka Pias for this project, and we'll make identical art book of minority communities. Before this, Pustaka Pias is focused to publish historical books from from many countries and translated it to Indonesia and distributed in Indonesian only. Maybe Titis can add more information about this project or hello, Titis?
Hello. My name is Titis. I'm the director of this project along with Delpi Sorianto. Nice to meet you all. Yeah, we are honored and thrilled to acknowledge that we've been selected for this CTC grant. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Yeah, so we hope we can build something great for this project, and I want to wish good luck and break life for other grantees. Thank you.
Thank you, Titis. Is there anybody from Small Fry Collective in the meeting right now?
Actually, our counterpart cannot attend today's meeting, but we will ensure that they will get this record. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So the next one is from WOW Foundation, Women of the World, who are based in London, who will be collaborating with a music band called Voice of Bacaprot from West Jakarta. I think I see Laura is in the chat, is in the meeting. So maybe Laura can introduce yourself and the project.
Hello, yes, hello everybody, and also extremely grateful for this grant. So this will give us the opportunity to have our first ever digital artists in residence as part of our WOW 2022 festival. So the WOW 22 festival is taking place both in person in London and also online, reaching our global partners, and we're really excited that Voice of Bacaprot are our first ever artists in residence as part of our WOW Sounds programme. So they will be creating kind of new digital recordings that we'll play at the festival and through our online festival. Also hosting digital music workshops as part of our online programme, and doing various takeovers of our social media channels. And we're particularly excited to work with the band because of how they use activism within their music, and that's what this residency is about, is how we can help to support and develop that and inspire others. I think that's it. I don't know if don't think any of our partners are on the call, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, actually I'm here.
Oh, sorry.
Hi everyone. Hi everyone, I'm Rusty. I represent the band VOB. They're very excited. I'm sorry they couldn't be here because they have another shooting going on right now. So, but they're really excited about this program, and hopefully we can all contribute to the great outcome of the programs.
And hi, we haven't met. I'm new at WOW, so it's nice to see you virtually.
Nice to see you too.
Thank you, Laura and Rasti. Rasti, it's great to meet you. Great to see you again. Actually, we collaborated a while ago, so it's nice to see a familiar face. So moving on, the next project is between Ignatius Susiadi Wibowo from Laptanya with Devron Projects. I see Mas Adi is here. So Mas Adi, do you want to say hi?
Hi. Hello, everyone. Yeah, my name is Adi Wibowo. I actually joined this project with my collective, Laptanya. Here with us, Wilma.
Hi. Hello, everyone.
And also Jason here.
Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you.
Actually, it's a very honor to join this program and have a new partner from the UK, different projects. Yeah, very excited to run this project, and also it's nice to meeting you all here. Thank you.
Thanks, Adi. Is there anybody from Devron Projects here?
I think they could not join this meeting right now.
All right, that's fine.
Okay.
We'll have other sessions where hopefully we can network with the other CTC grantees. And then the next one is New Toy, based in Chilem, with Muara Suara, who's based in Samarinda. I think I see Joel is in participants list. So maybe Joel, would you like to say hello and introduce the project?
Yeah, hi. Thanks for this opportunity. It's really exciting. We both me and Muara Suara and Robbie from Muara Suara, I think, is here as well. We're very excited to go start this project, which is basically several workshop exchange. It's about 3 from each organization, and they will be shared between us, all about different skills in sound and different techniques in sound making. And we'll also have a composition that will be shared between different artists. So a UK artist will start a composition, and then in a kind of like the Exquisite Corpse game, be kind of layered together to create a kind of, I suppose, like a bit of a collage of different works from the artists of both countries. So thanks again for the opportunity.
Thanks, Joel. And I think there's someone from Muara Suara is here as well.
Oh yeah, I'm Derry. I'm currently representing Muara Suara on this current project, and basically the project has been explained well by Joel, and piggybacking on what Joel's been said, basically this project with this project we wish to increase understanding and exposure of the sound art scenes in both countries, and actually over a platform for exchange of skills and music. So I think that's all from Muara Suara, and we are very excited to join this project.
Okay, thank you so much, Derry, as well. I guess we for some reason this cohort we've actually accepted quite a few music and sound art projects. So there might be something that we can consider to kind of connect everyone as well for the future, maybe for future collaborations. And then lastly, last but not least, we have Jalan Gembira from Jogja with Walkspace from Birmingham, which is, I think Mbak Gatari is here. So please feel free to introduce yourself and the project.
Yeah, hello everyone. Nice to see you here. And let me introduce myself. I'm Gatari. I'm here working collaboratively with my colleagues, there is Zunifa and Amarawati from Jalan Gembira. And also we will, our counterpart workspace in Birmingham, there is Fiona and also Pete. And we will initiate parallel working between Yogyakarta and Birmingham in an attempt to see the different context of urban, to see the different context of the urban context into different geographical. And also afterward, we will publish the books as well as initiating the storytelling workshops and ended by the exhibition. So yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mbak Gatari. Fiona, would you like to say something to add?
Hi, yes, I just want to say very excited to be working with our friends in Indonesia. We've had some great conversations already. For everyone else, just to explain that art walking is what we do at Walkspace. We're a relatively new collective of artists who use walking, and we walk to learn about our city. And we've realised that Yogyakarta and Birmingham are both cities where walking is considered a little bit weird, in that, you know, mostly people drive cars or mopeds. So we're discovering new things together and finding different connections between our cities through the power of walking. And we are hoping within our new collective, we will then hire several artists within our collective to work with Jalan Gembira as well. So yeah, very excited, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Fiona and Gatari. I think we've went through the whole list, so just some kind of final words. If you have any particular questions, I think this is probably the best time to raise them. But also just to put down more information about the British Council Arts team. You've met Lavina already, who is also working on the CTC projects. We have Anissa, who is behind the scenes, but she's a very important person for you to deal with because she's the one managing all of the contracts and finances and payments. And we also have Randall, who's part of our regional team and who's kind of leading on the management of Connections Through Culture as a regional project. So that's the team. And we also have our Instagram and Twitter accounts. If you have any, if you want to record or document any parts of your project, please do tag us and use the hashtags that we put in the slide below. Hashtag British Council CTC or hashtag Culture Connects Us. So that way we can keep track of your progress, but also be able to share your story even wider and share it to our followers and the people within the British Council networks. So over back to you, I guess, if anybody has any further questions or thoughts or comments or anything.
May I ask a question?
Sure, go ahead, Fiona.
Thank you. There's a couple of questions I have. One is if you're not putting the project names on your website until November, can we announce our projects here or do we have to wait? So that's my first question. And the second question is when we're creating, this is information management, creating our own version of a consent form, do you have a template or any help that we could use for that form?
All right. Randall, do you maybe want to answer the first question?
Yes, for the your names will be posted on the 6 Southeast Asia British Council websites, hopefully by October 29, Friday. So that will be next week. But if you're going to do a little bit of already groundwork, perhaps with your audiences, I think it would be okay to say that you are a Connections Through Culture grantee as of, I mean, if you're going to do it next week. Anyways, since this our websites will be posting, or we will have your names posted on the 6 Southeast Asia websites. I hope that is amenable to you. I understand that some of you would are now really, and because Indonesia is the first team to actually finish their contracts, which is really great. I hope that we could be able to just let us know if you're posting something or anything already, then we'll see that. I mean, we could actually also share it to our other country teams. So would that be clear with you? Is that Fiona who asked?
Yes, that's fine. It's for groundwork to start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very understandable, and please always use our hashtag so I could actually snoop and check your projects in the near future. As for the second question, I think, Kemi, if it's okay for me to answer, you do have our consent forms. I think you already, actually, most of you should have returned the consent forms already because you signed your contracts, or all of you signed your contract. So we could actually give a copy of the British Council consent form. Our request is that you use this as your guidance for your own consent forms, meaning that you use your own, if you have your own nameplate or your own signatures, please use this. Our intention is that since your projects have been selected because you have the 25% project management, um, proposal, or that you are also good project managers. I hope that this helps us also in relating to our other participants, children, residents of your open calls, if you're doing open calls, workshoppers, any other participant that will be part of your project. Let's be mindful that they are also, we also need to take care of them as much as we want to take care also of ourselves. I think that's a basic tenet. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Randall, and I hope that answers your question, Fiona. Is there any other questions from the group? I assume there's no further questions. If there isn't any more questions, I mean, definitely we are ready and available if anybody wants to continue conversing through emails. We are open. We can help you answer any inquiries that you might have, especially once you kind of start the project process itself. But if not, I think maybe we have about 5 minutes left. I don't know if anybody might want to use the remaining 5 minutes to continue the networking, or if we can maybe just draw a close.
Yeah, if I can share a little bit about audience data collection, if I may, because this has been discussed in the other country sessions as well. So I hope that that grantees won't be daunted with the task of collecting numbers of your participants, because among the 6 grant projects in Indonesia, you have different ways of working for the grants. Some of you will just be talking to one another in the next few months. Some of you are planning to do a production after several months. Some of you would be working with a closed group of grantees, participants, whatever you did use for your proposals. Um, we can collect as I mean, please try to, that's why we have on the slide deck like the sample table already. So I hope that you will be attentive of how your Google Analytics work or your data analytics work in your social media sites, because those are helpful back end parts of your events, which slowly as you go along with your projects you can take note already. That's why Levina was telling that you keep a project journal or project record of what's happening. Your grants were chosen because we would want to share the highs and lows of how you do your processes as you go through your projects. We're not very particular, frankly, with end products. We are very much into how you are experiencing the process that you proposed actually for the grants. Of course, you will, most of you will be doing like production or a book, or I'm not sure if there's a book within the Indonesian grant cohort, but or things that are tangible. But we are very much happy to learn how you are also learning as you collaborate with your counterpart in the UK or in Indonesia. Okay, and a practical question, I guess, from Joel of New Toy is: does anyone know a useful live stream closed caption? Okay, then Kemi answered.
Yeah, I was just putting in my suggestion, but I don't know if anybody else might have suggestions. You can pop it into the chat. All right. Anything else?
I think for another something to be keen of, if we are doing projects which would be outside venues, I hope that our UK colleagues, our UK grantees are aware that in Southeast Asia, some countries are still adjusting to outdoor activities. Please be mindful that we need also to safeguard our participants. We have our usual COVID procedures intact, and again, also consent that our participants in whatever function they might be are consenting to the activities that you are doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think generally the situation in Indonesia varies across the different provinces and regions. In particular, like Jakarta, Java, and Bali have started to kind of loosen the restrictions of movement. But it's not to say that, you know, I think some people might have their own approach to doing whether or not they're ready to do like live or in-person activities. There's still a lot of protocols in country to do to attend, to go to particular places, especially like public spaces. So I think that's just maybe worth to keep in mind when doing your projects, especially if there might be anything that involves cross-border activities or yeah, just maybe meeting other people in person. Okay. Lavina, what do you think we should do? Should we open it up or close it off, or?
Yeah, I think if there's no more questions, then we can close off the session. But perhaps before we close, I would like to just drop a question to everyone in the room is around how, for this cohort specifically, how would everyone choose to, let's say, be in touch with each other? For example, just like an example just now is like, you know, Joel asked a question, and then perhaps the answer could also benefit other teams, you know. I think it's a good place for us to share resources. So at the moment, I have the email address of everyone. So I just want to maybe understand if it is okay for everyone that we circulate everyone's email address to everyone in this room, just so that in case you need to reach out to someone specifically, you can just reach out directly. And also if, let's say, one project is having a public activity online and would like to circulate it to other to the batchmate to come and join, I think that could also be a nice thing to do. So I'm going to wait until tomorrow morning. So if anyone not comfortable with me sharing the email address around, please let me know and I'll delete it from the list. Otherwise, tomorrow at the end of the day, I will just circulate everyone's email to everyone. I hope that's all right. I think that's all, Cam, from me.
Okay, then. Thanks, Lev. And I guess to maybe just close, it was really great to meet everyone from this cohort, and hopefully this is not going to be the first and the last time that you meet each other. Hopefully we might have other means to be able to bring everyone together again through networking sessions or through maybe attending each other's project events. It would be really great if we can set up that maybe like cohort communication group or something like that, so we can share information and learn from each other. So once again, thank you for taking the time spending the hour with us to learn more about the Connections Through Culture project. If there is still anything that's unclear, feel free to reach out to either myself, Lavina, Anissa, or Randall, or all of us together. And we'd be happy to help you sort out the inquiry. Yeah, in the meantime, I guess stay safe, stay healthy, and hope you guys are doing well. And looking forward to seeing your projects. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Stay safe, everyone.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
Thank
you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, and
soon.
Thanks, Lavina.
Thanks.
Yes. Do we need a debrief or we're all good? I think we're all good, right?
I think we're all good. I'm
Yeah.
happy we hit the 1 hour mark. That's good.
I thought it was 1 hour and 30. So I.
Yeah, and turns out, yeah, it's supposed to be. I anticipated 90 minutes, but turns out everyone didn't
Yeah.